Hi guys, Redneck Computer Geek here. As you can see, I'm a right-handed person drinking coffee left-handed. And that would be because the other day I was about 3 hours into post hole digging and I went to go and slam the shovel down into the hole one more time to break out a little bit more at the bottom, and the shovel stopped and my hand apparently didn't stop fast enough or something, and I pinched something or I messed something up. So I can't wrench right now. I definitely cannot run an impact gun. Even just holding a screwdriver is painful right now. So I'm waiting for that to heal, so I figured we would do a Mud Wizard update. I've been getting some of the paint scheme done. The transmission is locked with a zinc locker in the back end. It didn't come out as good as the original zinc locker, so we'll see if it holds up, because I ended up having to do a double pour instead of a single pour. I didn't quite make enough zinc on the first one. You guys saw a couple of photos on the Facebook page of John chiseling that out and telling me it was like trying to look for dinosaur bones. I thought that was a funny quote. And the pulley is on in the back. The engine is just mocked up. It's not bolted in right now, but I wanted it for the weight in order to be able to look at how the shocks are set up and where they should be. I definitely think the shocks are overkill on the poundage that they're rated for. They're rated for 400 pounds. I really think I need to see if I can find something with a similar travel ratio that's more about 200 pounds per shock, because these ones just don't have as much give as I would like. They're on their they're adjustable, but they're on their loosest setting already on the spring. And I'll show you the travel there. This is going to be the first variation of this setup. I need to modify it further in the way that the steering works. But for now, we're just going to use the single cross-beam tie rod, because I just want to get it up and running and be able to drive it at this point. So we're going to grab the camera, do a walk around, show you a little bit of everything, and then at the end I'll take the camera and I'll put it down on the ground and I'll bounce on it and show you guys a little bit of travel. Maybe pick it up one-handed and drop it and let it slam down or something once I strap the engine down. But anyways, if you've enjoyed the new video footage and the way that the new camera is and everything else, you need to put a big giant shout out and a thank you to my wife. It's a GoPro 6 and I love it. It has taken a lot of adjusting in order to get used to. I'm shooting all of my video right now at 2.7K because it works out really well in my editing software until I can upgrade computers and stuff. So shout out to her. It works great. Love it. It's amazing. You guys should go and definitely take a look at them. GoPros right now, they're coming out with a new Hero series, and supposedly the 6 is supposed to drop in price soon. So I definitely would recommend looking into one. Alright, so let's grab the camera and walk around. Alright, so the number one question that I have got to have gotten is, does the hood fit? Now, this is not the hood that's going to be going on it, but it's a regular standard size Craftsman hood, and yes, it does fit. So if I need to, I have an option that definitely fits over the top of the coil mounts. Hi, so we got this painted up, and I wanted to show you guys this. This is what I hate, is when they came out with this facade. So here's the model number information, and basically this sits over the top of this. It's an absolutely fake cover that nobody needs, and it's made out of sheet metal that for some reason is like twice the thickness of the actual inner shroud. This serves no purpose other than just to supposedly make it look better. This is your actual inner shroud, and this is where it controls all the airflow and everything. So I've painted this. The one issue that I have with this, if we come over here and we go to put this on, is that when it sits in, you end up with a slightly wide berth on your flywheel here.
And so what I probably will end up doing is I probably will end up making something that fits over the top of this, some sort of cage, and then maybe add a pulley for pull starting or something like that, like they had on the old 1970s Agways. I miss that. I miss in the 1970s when all the motors had a lifted pulley for pull starting when you needed to. I don't know why that went away, but that needs to come back, and it really should. So that'll probably be what we end up doing there. Now, I ended up choosing this color for the back end, and something went wrong during the paint job, and I ended up with a massive amount of orange peel. And what ended up happening is that I had the paint cans for this back there, and that stays much colder back there than up here next to where the sun comes in. But what's even worse is I had this open and the sun had come in and it had baked this side right in here, and you can almost see a defined edge in where the peel ended up happening. And what happened is, very cold can of paint, very warm metal, and it just orange peeled the whole thing. I'll probably sand it down when this fully ends up enameling on in like 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll repaint it with that closed so that it doesn't peel again. But that was my learning experience for this round. I've got my model number thing all taped off and everything. I'm going to leave it that way for now. I thought the safety stickers would be funny to leave, so I taped those off. I'm going to pull those off, and we're going to put tape over the top of this. We're going to put some of that tread tape that you can buy in the length or whatever at your local hardware store, Home Depot, all that kind of stuff. You can buy tread tape and put it in. That's what's going there. That's why I didn't bother prepping this very much, and I just painted over the top of everything just to seal it in really good. One note about Rust-Oleum paint: if you use it, you need at least 3 layers to seal surface rust. Now, I'm not saying Rust-Oleum doesn't do what it says it does. What I'm saying is, what it doesn't declare is you need at least 3 good layers to seal that surface rust in. So when we come back here, we've got our Spicer transmission in. It's an absolute piece of junk. We all know that Footy and Spicer are a bad idea, but we've got the zinc locker in there. I messed up when I made this zinc locker, and I didn't end up boiling down, melting enough zinc, so I had to pour the locker twice. We're going to see whether that makes any difference. And we've got our bear claws on. We've got our side shift set up. Now, the side shift should sit right about in here once I get the back on. And so we've got reverse, we've got neutral, and we got all the way forward. And as you can see, it clears the tires. The one thing that I don't like is that if you push down on the knob, you can intercept the tire. But once the tracking of that panel is here, I don't think that'll be a problem. We're going to have to play with that. And then we've got the newer style of the X-Trax put on. As you can see, this is the newer style, which matches more towards the bear claw type profile in the background there. And this is what you guys voted on and thought was going to be cool, so this is what I decided to go with. And I've got bearings installed on both sides. These are welded in right here with bearings on the inside. If you'd like, I can post a link down in the description for the original video on how to do this. And that's all set. They work really nice. They spin right up. And there's the original tires so that you can see the tread comparison while we're right here next to each other. Now, this right here, we've got 400-pound shocks in here, and I am going to have to find something different. These are just way too strong. I'm going to have to find something more about 200 pounds with about the same amount of travel. So we'll see what we can do. Now this right here, I like to reuse things as often as possible. So here we are. This right here is actually the original deck assembly. Let me see if I can grab a light. Oh, here we are. We got a light. I love this thing. This light is actually a light from AUDEW, and they sent it to me for a camping trip, and I thought it was really nice that they sent it for the camping trip, but it's junk for camping with, other than the fact that the flashlight in it is absolutely amazing. But if you punch it right here, we get a spotlight, which is awesome. And you punch it again, and the whole thing turns into a glowing stick of doom, which is great. I love this feature. But they took it one step further that I absolutely adore for working on stuff. And basically, watch this. On the inside of here, it's really dark, you really can't see anything, and it sucks to get your hands in the first place. But if I take this, and I go like that, it's got magnets on the inside. I love it. Look at how bright that is. You have so much work room. I've used this thing in underneath so many vehicles already. I love it. And the neat thing is this is just the first setting. Look at this. Second. And then we have Unleash the Sun. Holy cow. Now the next setting on it I find interesting. I think this would be great for hauling scrap metal. And then we have the weird SOS, only what's interesting with this is that the SOS on this is not your usual orange blinking SOS. It's red and blue. I don't think I've ever seen a red and blue blinking SOS. Huh, for some reason my GoPro's not picking that up. There we go. So then you punch it one more and it's off. Now that is pretty cool. And to top it all off, this piece up here, it unscrews. There's a micro USB charging port. And there also is another port in there for being able to run your cell phone off of and recharge it. And it's got enough battery life built into it that it'll actually recharge my S7 at least once, if not 1.5 times. But I love this thing. I really recommend picking one up if you know somebody that you need a gift for that works in the garage or something like that. But that, I can't get over that. The fact that you can sit there and then once it's in place, light it up. I love it. I use it all the time now. So let's put this on regular mode. There we are. Okay, so in here, you set it on the tire there. All right, so in here, what we have is this is your deck front plate. So normally this sits going this direction. And so this screw hole usually would be down here. So I've 180'd it and then brought it up, and I took a transaxle mount plate. I believe this came out of a Toro. And I welded that onto the top of it. I welded across here and I welded across the back side of it. And then these are pre-cut mounts that I ordered up online. And then on top here, we've got just a piece of regular angle iron. And I've welded in a reinforcement on this side and rounded it over. And then welded a tab on and reinforced it, so that that sits and it's not going anywhere. And you can literally lift the whole thing from it, like so. So that should work. Now, the thing is, underneath here, we've got, let me grab my light. Underneath here, we've got our twin I-beam setup that we built. So the idea here, I set set the light down. The idea here is your pivot point is all the way over up in there, and it comes all the way down into here and connects to the spindle, and then all the way back on this piece here and connects to the frame. And what that does is it makes it so that when this travels up and down, it travels just about as straight as you're gonna get. There's no A-frame flex in order to push this up and in. It should almost entirely be straight up and down, which is the reason why it is I have such a minimalist design up in here for this. So there we are. That's the whole setup there. Now let's see if we can get a little bounce on it and take some view on the travel. Alright, so now I'm going to stick my whole body weight up here and hold the engine and see if we can really bounce it. So there we are. That's the update on the Mud Wizard build. The next goal at this point is going to be to get the engine bolted in. The airbox, because of the way that this sits, the airbox is going to have to be modified for the first run, but I don't care because my goal is to snorkel it anyway. Get the hood figured out and on here and be able to set the winch on into this location. Now, I'm gonna probably clone my original winch setup in that I'm going to make the mount hole for the winch probably right about here. I'm gonna set my winch plate in. Oh, there we are. I'm gonna set my winch plate in like this because I bought a pre-made plate. And then what I'll probably do is I'll probably do like I did on the GT, and I'll cut out triangle pieces to go right in here, and then I'll square it off in order to make my V shape that I like on the front of my tractors. And I'm going to try and make a plate for the front of it that is removable like the original, and that will allow me to access the bolts much easier. And it also will allow me to have it come down in order to block anything from taking out the exhaust. My goal is to be ATV registered, and in the state of Maine you have to have a viable exhaust with spark respirator in it. And so we're going to be using the stock in here because it has all those requirements already built in. Okay everyone, well that's it for this one. Sorry about the shaky camera holding. Unfortunately it is what it is. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Leave your comments down below as to what it is that you like, you don't like, what you would do differently. I'm always willing to listen to new ideas. If you don't want to leave a comment, you're more than welcome to go and send me an email at any time. At the end of this video is my email address. You're more than welcome to forward off something. Have a good day. Keep tinkering.